Hey guys, what's up? All right, all right, all right. It's Double Deuce back, and today we're going to do a segment on the Xtra Speed 110 millimeter aluminum internal spring dampers. We're going to tear them apart, and I'm going to show you some cool things about them and some options and stuff, and why I like them. So here we go. And welcome back, guys. So I'm going to do some segments on different styles of shocks and stuff in my upcoming videos because there's been, I guess, a lot of players out there coming up with shocks for different purposes and all that stuff. Now, everybody knows this is the T-Max shock, okay? And this is your Xtra Speed shock. Now, they say the T-Max shocks are 105 millimeter, but I don't know. They look 110 to me, to be honest with you. I always use these as my fail-safe shock because you can get a bag of them for 20 bucks. You know what I mean? And they're plastic, but you know, if you're doing a rig and you want to take it out and try it out and all that stuff, I always start with the T-Max shocks because they're very smooth and you know, of course, like I say, they're plastic, but they come with oil in them and everything. And you usually get all your spring spacers and all that stuff, you know, in the kits. But enough of that. But today we're going to do this. Now, I seen this shock, and I thought this was wicked cool because it looks like a real shock. You know, I wish it was a little smaller because I like them for the HGP 407. However, you can use these on the HGP 407, okay? And they're not really a big bore shock, and they're not the stock style shock. And to be honest with you, I've been using a lot of the 1/12 scale, the military series shocks on my scale rigs because they're short, small. They don't have a lot of travel in them, but they look more scale to the frame of the truck. So let's whip this thing apart real quick and show you what's inside it because I was really impressed with this, okay? Now, these come in the bag, okay, with extra springs. They got kind of like the stiff spring is already installed in it, okay? Then they got a medium, and then they got a really soft spring. Okay, so for you leaf spring guys that don't want to run like an external spring, you don't have to, okay? Because you can just take the spring out, and I'm going to show you right now. You just hold the top piece like this, and then unscrew this collar, which would be the top shaft, and let it drop down, and then grab the shaft, unscrew this, because they all screw together, which is pretty nice, because I thought they were kind of like a plastic cap over, you know what I mean, and all that. But you pull it apart, and now you got a regular shock, okay? So this little addition of this little cap right here, you know, it's all aluminum, and you can see it has fine threads on there, and it just threads right in to the top piece, and it completes the shock, so it looks like a real, you know, a real shock with the outer cover on it. And for you guys who wanted to do, you know, the different brands of the Monroe or Hijackers and all that, you can paint these. You know, you can just, because they're pretty much anodized aluminum. And what I thought was really nice about these shocks, I don't do a lot of reviews on shocks because there's so many of them out there. But like you say, if you look at the inside, now they come empty, okay, And you see it has a 2-hole plunger in there, an E-clip. And if you look at the very top up there, you can see up inside here there's an E-clip, or a metal like snap clip that holds in another plastic spacer in there, and inside is your seal. But so, and it has, so you know, you can tell it's got some resistance on it. But for the most part, the bottom comes off too, so it's hollow. It's threaded on both ends, and it has a really nice little rubber seal on the bottom here to keep your oil from running through or whatever. And I'll put it back on. But when you for the leaf spring guys, hey, you don't want to run a spring on it. You tear it apart, remove the stiff spring that's on it, and you know, you can put your cover back on it, screw it all together, and now you've got yourself a nice shock absorber like it's on a super scale real vehicle. And if you, like I say, you want to paint it a different color, you know, if you like, for you guys that like the yellows or the whites, or you know, you can go that route too, or just leave it black. But these are like $15 a pair, you know, and I took a chance on them, and like I say, I bought 2 sets because when I order, you know, overseas, they, you know, I try to buy bulk, you know, that way, because you wait a long time for it. Now, I actually got these from, let's see, it was RC Mart, actually, on eBay. So if you see right there, RC Mart Limited, it came from Hong Kong. And they were here pretty quickly too. And so you can use these on your HDP 407 if you just put a taller shock mount on the top. So, you know, you can, there's plenty of programs where you can print these off. You can adapt the ones from the actual Trail Finder 2 and all that stuff, and they make, you know, all kinds of aftermarket ones for the XCS10 and you know, all the off-road Jeeps and all that stuff. There's so many parts out there right now. This is what's beautiful about the hobby now. You don't have to, you know, put that part on there because, you know, it came from Tamiya, you know, and put a Tamiya part on there. You can use any part that you can adapt to it. And on the back side, you just tilt the spring or the shocks inward, okay, like that on your leaf springs. As the leaf spring goes underneath it, you tilt them inward, and that way it gives you the room, you know what I mean? If you can run a longer bore shock on your leaf spring truck. And if you notice, the Trail Finder 2 don't have the shocks straight up and down in the back. They got them tilted inward, so it gives the truck a little bit of freedom to move the leaf springs around. So, and anywho, like I say, that was a quick segment on that. I wanted to tear them apart for you guys to see it. And, you know, any questions, comments, you know, feel free. I'm always here. Hit me up, and I'll get back as soon as I can. And you guys have a great weekend. Adios.